औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आपका मेज़बान आरिफ जहांगीरी एक दफ़ा फिर कम्युनिटी टॉक के प्रोग्राम के साथ नाजरीन हाजिर है। नाज़रीन, आज हमने अपने स्टूडियो के अंदर एक बहुत ही स्पेशल खातून को बुलाया है जो कि मिल्टन ईस्ट हॉल्टन साउथ की जो है ना राइडिंग से एमपी हैं। उनका नाम जो है वो क्रिस्टीना टेसर डर्कसन है। शी वॉज बिफोर अ काउंसलर इन द मिल्टन वार्ड 1 एज वेल, and she is long time actually serving the community, right? और बहुत ज़बरदस्त और पैशनेट खातून है। और हम उनसे जो है उनका 1 साल हो गया है तकरीबन पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, फर्स्ट टाइम पार्लियामेंट में गई हैं, फेडरल पार्लियामेंट के अंदर। और शी इज़ डूइंग ग्रेट एक्चुअली। आई उनकी जो है मैंने डायरी भी रीड की है, जो पार्लियामेंट की डायरी होती है। और उन्होंने कोई तकरीबन 141 टाइम जो है इंटरवेंशन किया है, मतलब पार्लियामेंट के अंदर बोला है। बैक बेंचर नहीं है, बोलती हैं और बिल्स को सेकंड भी करती हैं, और भी दूसरे इश्यूज़ के ऊपर उन्होंने काफ़ी बात की है। स्पेशली जो है वो जो हमारे यहाँ कोर्ट सिस्टम्स है, उसके जो लॉज हैं उसके हवाले से काफ़ी बात करती है, इसलिए कि वो खुद भी लॉयर हैं। और डेफिनेटली शी वांट टू मेक सम चेंजेस इन द लॉ बिकॉज लोअर मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से उनका भी ताल्लुक़ है। मिल्टन में रहती हैं लॉन्ग टाइम, और मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत ज़बरदस्त खातून है, बहुत ज़बरदस्त पार्लियामेंटेरियन है लिबरल की, जो है ना मुझे लगता है कि उनका फ्यूचर बहुत जो है ना वो ब्राइट नज़र आता है। तो उनको हमने जो है ना स्टूडियो के अंदर बुलाया। उनका एक कारनामा उन्होंने ना सिर्फ ये कि बहुत सारी और क्योंकि आपको पता है कि जब हम टाउन के अंदर काम करते हैं तो सारा फंड्स हमारे पास होता है, इजी होता है डिस्पर्स करना। लेकिन फेडरल के अंदर जब होते हैं तो वो तो बड़े लार्जर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए होते हैं। लेकिन उसके बावजूद जो है ना उन्होंने $2.9 मिलियन जो है अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग के हवाले से जॉर्ज टाउन के लिए उन्होंने मख्तस करवाया है। और इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे कोशिशें वो कर रही हैं, स्पेशली द गो मिल्टन के हवाले से उनकी भरपूर कोशिश है। अपने प्रोविंशियल जो हमारे ज़ीशान हामिद साहब हैं उनके साथ मिलकर वो कोशिश कर रही हैं कि गो स्टेशन जो है हमारा वो 24/7 चले, और वहाँ पर जो ट्रेनों की आमद-ओ-रफ्त है गो की वो ज़्यादा हो जाए, क्योंकि आबादी बढ़ रही है और बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर भी है। तो बहुत सारे और भी हम उनसे सवालात, चुपते हुए सवालात भी पूछेंगे, इस्लामियोफोबिया के हवाले से पूछेंगे उनसे। हम जनाब आज बात करेंगे अल्बर्टा के अंदर जो है जनाब जो एक सेपरेटिस्ट मूवमेंट का और एक रेफरेंडम हुआ है, तकरीबन 20 to 30% लोगों ने जो है वो इसके हक़ में जो है ना वो दिया है, उसके हवाले से उनसे बात करेंगे। इसके अलावा स्प्रिंग बजट जो कार्नी साहब ने दिया है उसके अंदर कुछ जो इनिशिएटिव लिए हैं उसके हवाले से भी हम उनसे बात करेंगे। तो आइए जनाब हम क्रिस्टीना टेसर डेक्सन साहिबा से बात करते हैं और आपसे उनकी मुलाकात कराते हैं। वेलकम टू द टोरंटो 360 टीवी।
Thank you. It is great to be back. Thank you.
Thank you. I know that I took your interview when you are the counselors or running for the council at that time, and it's a long time after you become the MP. Really, I didn't get a chance to talk with you, and I really appreciate that you gave us the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Okay. So, I know that you are in the very important committees of the parliament as well, and you are doing great. I go through your diary as well. I try my best to know what really you are doing in the parliament, right? And I see the passion. I see that you're doing great there. So tell me something, after a year, right? After this time is gone, how you're feeling? Because it's a very new experience for you.
It is, and it's hard to believe it's been a year. Oh my goodness, it's gone so fast. Of course, when you're busy, you know, time flies. So it's been personally a wonderful experience because there's been lots of learning, and I love to learn. I have wonderful colleagues within our caucus and on the other side of the aisle as well. I've made friends with lots of other MPs. It's been very busy because we find ourselves, as you know, in some very challenging times as a country. And in order to address that and make sure that we're continuing to keep ourselves focused and controlling what we can, we have to make sure we're on top of all the issues, and they change daily, as you know. I mean, Canada doesn't exist in a vacuum. We're part of a global landscape on this planet with other countries, and as things change across the oceans or maybe south of the border, we have to make sure we're able to react quickly.
Yeah, one thing definitely, I really myself is impressed with the Liberal government and the Carney leadership as well. I embrace, right? Especially the I think historical speech he did in the Europe, right? That was amazing speech. I heard a wonderful speech after a very long time. Somebody speak like that, right? John Crechan was one of the great leader of our time, right? And he did the same things. And I think Canada is different after Harper era and then many other small eras. I think it's again trying to gain his more respect in the universally. How you see that? You think that?
I absolutely agree. And certainly, just like people change, countries change,
Yes.
nations change, and they have to change because they have to stay in front of the issues that they face in the global community. So I definitely feel like Canada right now is positioned to be a great influence in the world, whether it's from a position of governance and leadership, as you mentioned our Prime Minister in his historic speech at Davos, in which he was very candid and very honest and very insightful, or if it's as an energy superpower, which our Prime Minister has been talking about, because as you know, we have phenomenal natural resources in this country that it's time to capitalize on for our own economic sovereignty, particularly because we face challenges from our neighbors to the south. So I think now is a critical moment in our history. This will be a time that our children and grandchildren read about in history books.
Well, yes, definitely. I feel that way. I think the turning point for the Canadian, right? The future, right? The future of the Canada is a turning point. I think after a very long time, we are too much on relying on the US. That's very true. And he's a good partner of us. Still, we have a lot of businesses is going on there. No issue. But definitely, Canada have to start their own way of finding the business toward. Do you think that we are now tilting toward more Europe alliances toward the Europes, because Davos speech of the Prime Minister is also asking all the developing countries to start looking something else. It's not like something is superpower, we have to follow that one, but we have to put our pressure as well there.
Yeah, I think what the Prime Minister was saying is it's a time for leadership. You're certainly correct in that the relationship we have with the United States continues to be critically important.
Yes.
They are our largest trading partner. And there will come a time in probably the not too far future where these trade disruptions do resolve themselves with the United States. But the lesson we've learned is that if we put all our eggs in one basket and we end up with a trading partner who decides to change course on us abruptly, then we're the ones who are going to suffer the damage for not being more mindful of being more self-reliant and not planning correctly in that circumstance. So I think the lesson's very important here. It's that we can continue to utilize a very important trading partner. And as I think it was John F. Kennedy said, you know, history made us, geography made us neighbors, and history made us friends, or something to that effect. And that's true. You know, we're very close to the United States geographically. But to rely so heavily on one trading partner, we can see where that led us. And I think what the Prime Minister was saying in Davos is that the time has come, because of the reality we face, and not necessarily entirely a fault of our own, but because of the reality we face, we have to diversify and we have to find other friends, other allies that we can do business with. It's a very pragmatic approach. I think it's a response to the global reality that we're facing and the disruption in the global economic order that the Prime Minister spoke of.
So, two countries, I know that in the time of Trudeau, Mr. Trudeau, we have a decline of our relationship. One is India, and other one is definitely China, right? So I see that Mark Carney tried to repair those. So, what type of business alliance with those countries you are expecting? Because you are the parliamentarian, you are hurting more than us.
Yes, and this is a conversation I've had with folks in the riding who are concerned about different relationships we might be developing with countries that might not necessarily have a political value systems that align with ours. Now, as Canadians, we have shared enshrined values. We believe in humanitarian law, we believe in taking care of people, we believe in workers' rights. And there may be other countries that don't uphold those values as high as maybe we do. That doesn't necessarily mean we cannot do business with those countries, because it's in our own economic best interest. And frankly, by having that dialogue and that trade relationship with countries like that, I think we have more of an opportunity to influence them and show them diplomatically that upholding workers' rights or upholding humanitarian values is actually better for their people as well. And what better way to show that than through example and having a dialogue? If you're not talking, then there's no chance to have that discussion, and there's no chance to really see that influence at work.
No, the good thing about it that definitely the world is on one page, most of the countries, right? They do not want war. The peoples are against the war, and peoples are definitely criticizing the people's countries like Russia, like America, like China, like whoever is involved in the Iran, right? All those countries are criticized, right, by the common people, not and the countries as well, right? So I see a different world, although the war is going on, but everybody is suffering the high prices of the gas, right? And today I heard in the Canadian news as well that our farmers are suffering because they are not getting the urea. Because in Milton we have a lot of farming field, right, and this is a time where they have to the spring crops, right? So how you see that that I know that Carney bring 10 cents down to give everybody 10 cents, right, in the gas back, but even though it's still very high prices, are you looking that something is going very nearby changes there or not?
It's very difficult because if you step back and look at the global issue with oil, all countries are feeling this, right? I mean, it's a huge disruption in trade as far as energy goes, and it's a war. I mean, very rarely does everybody benefit from a war, and we're seeing the impacts here. And in fact, the way oil prices are set is it's a prognostication. They're predicting what the prices will be in months to come. And as soon as the war happened, you saw prices spike, even though the actual oil blockage wasn't quite impacting us at the pumps yet, because companies know, well, this is what we're going to have to charge in several months' time. And we're seeing the effects immediately. It's a challenge. I think we are going to continue to see high oil prices. That being said, oil producers in Canada had one of their best quarters. So in Canada, the oil production is still happening. But because oil prices are set globally, everybody gets impacted kind of the same way. So I am not an economist. I don't have a expert analysis of how this works, but I do understand how the prices are set. And because it's a global market, all countries are feeling the impact of high oil prices. So what can we do as a government here in Canada? We did what we could by removing the excise fuel tax, which reduced provide a little bit of relief at the pumps instantly. Now, of course, you have the gas companies coming out with their summer blends, which tend to be a little more expensive. So it's kind of offsetting that decrease at the pumps. Overall affordability, I think, is another thing you'll want to talk about, or that we might want to talk about, because Canada's a big country and we need energy to move ourselves around. So that's why people are really feeling impacted by oil prices, but overall affordability as well, as far as groceries and just the cost of living. Yeah, and it's everywhere, and it's not just Canada. So this is kind of getting back to what we were originally talking about the very different type of economic situation the entire world is finding itself in, which, in my opinion, was sparked by the President of the United States when he decided to kind of flip the table on the global economic order that we were all used to. So we are feeling the impacts of those disruptions. We can't control him. We can try to negotiate with him, but again, we don't want to be overly reliant. And I fear that even with an agreement, things could change again, and we have to be prepared to rely on ourselves more thoroughly than we did before. And that's why you're seeing our government implement policies that are more Canada focused, like a Buy Canada policy for our government procurement contracts, harvesting our natural resources and getting them to market faster, and investing in our young people. This is something else that's really important. We have young people with youth unemployment pretty high right now. And we want to invest in getting young people skilled in trades. Because when we start initiating these nation building projects, which are already underway, we're going to need people to do the work for us. And we want to make sure they have good, secure, well-paying jobs.
I know that Mark Carney, one of the biggest long-time challenges there, right? Especially the pipeline issue, right? And it's going on from, I can say, decade, right? More than decade, maybe. So that we want to build the pipeline from Alberta, right? So, but either we have issues of environmental issues, other native issues. So because this pipeline have to go on a certain areas, right? So I see that Mark Carney trying to do this project. Somehow he's trying those environmentalists as well as natives satisfy their demands and start communication. Do you think that this is one of the big agenda on the plate of Mark Carney?
Oh, I would say so. Yes, this is a large project in any circumstances. Never mind the challenges of the federal system we have in Canada, where you have to have provinces on board, not just Alberta, but we have British Columbia. We have to think about if we're talking about a Pacific Coast pipeline. First Nations people, Inuit Métis people, they have constitutional rights to full and informed consultation. No government can skirt that, or else they will be in violation of our very own constitution. So there's a number of interests here that sometimes could conflict if they're not properly managed. I will say that at this time, and we've already talked about the state of the economy and how we have to get natural resources out of the ground, the Prime Minister recognizes that now is the time to do it. We need a private proponent to come forward and build the pipeline, but opening that door with the Memorandum of Understanding with the province of Alberta, discussions with the province of British Columbia, making sure our First Nations people are consulted, and because they will be impacted as well across their traditional lands. That is all part of the discussion, and that's why sometimes these things take some time. Now, time is not necessarily on our side, given the fact that we have Canadians who are hurting now, economically speaking. So I think what you're going to see, and I know the Premier of Alberta was in Ottawa just this past week, I think what you're going to see is a speeding up of responsible natural resource harvesting. And you mentioned the environment. And as Canadians, we have a beautiful natural environment and natural heritage in this country that we want to protect.
Milton have the beautiful one too?
Yes, exactly. So there's a way to do this. And we produce the cleanest energy. And if countries are going to be buying fossil fuels anyway, why not have them buy it from the cleanest producer, so that we are fulfilling environmental commitments, and we're also getting the natural resources out of the ground so that we can benefit economically. And again, that feeds into our economic sovereignty that we have to be very mindful of right now, given the situation with the United States. So there is a way to do both. Not an easy task, because like I said, there are sometimes rights that are conflicting, and as a Prime Minister or as a government, you have to be mindful of the rights of all people, right, as well as the state of the national economy.
There's a big divide in Alberta as well, right, at this stage, because we see the separatist movement started, right? The referendum is going to be there, right? All those things are going on at the moment. So we heard about Quebec before all this separatist movement that slows down. How you see this Alberta movement? Because again, because we are after the the words which is mentioned by Mr. Trump to us, that we want to be Canada is like one of our states, right? So after that, I see the waves of patriotism in Canada all over. All of a sudden, we start hearing that this Alberta separatist movement is going on. How you see in these circumstances?
I'm very concerned about any talk of separatism in Canada. I want to see Canada continue as the great nation that it is, and that includes all provinces and territories as they currently are. I think the separatist movement you're seeing in Alberta has actually been brewing for some time. It's just recently that we've really seen an organized effort at a referendum. Now, I will put this in perspective. It sounds like it's maybe 25 to 30% of Albertans would be open to considering separation. So it's still a minority number, but it's still a big number. It's much too big for my comfort, and I'm sure for most Canadians. So I think what you're seeing in Alberta is the number of people who are actually serious about separating is actually probably much smaller than that. The other folks who are talking in a little bit of a separatist way see this as a way for their concerns and grievances to have more attention. And I think if our government, as Canadians, we all address those concerns, you'll see some of those numbers go down. There's a bit of a balancing act here too, because we want to create policy that's beneficial for the entire country. We cannot just capitulate to the demands of one particular province all the time, or a group of people within that province. But I think the fact that you see a separatist movement of this size, or any separatist movement at all, means that there are some valid concerns and grievances.
There are people out there, right?
That have to be addressed. Certainly, my Canada includes Alberta, absolutely, without a doubt, and I think most Canadians would say that. The work that we've been doing towards the Memorandum of Understanding on the oil pipeline, I believe, will address some of the concerns that Albertans have, because they do feel like their economic growth has been stifled a little bit by the lack of ability to get their Albertan oil to Tidewater. So the Premier of Alberta also seemed, after her initial meeting with the Prime Minister back in November about the pipeline, seemed very optimistic about this moving forward. And now she's just been in Ottawa again, and she said within a few weeks we hope to have something a little more concrete to bring forward. So I think we're moving in the right direction. I believe from our government what you're going to see is a real heartfelt extension of an olive branch to those Albertans who are really feeling disenfranchised or disillusioned with being part of Canada. I also want to say that a lot of the information people are getting about this is on social media, and there is a great deal of misinformation and disinformation happening on social media. So the algorithms are feeding into people who are already maybe feeling a certain way, and then it reinforces this sentiment they have about separating. So I want people to be mindful of how they're consuming that information.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we all have to be responsible, right, for all those things, right? If something happened, is not, I hope not, nothing will be there, and I'm sure that Alberta is a great province for us and a great resource for this country as well. And I go several times, Alberta, Edmonton, Calgary especially, I visited, so I know that it's a great place to go there, and really nice views as well. There are a lot of. So one of the questions that I have in my mind is that the financial, right, especially the financial, because they are middle class, that's at the moment they are suffering a lot, and they are always the problem is that if you see because our taxes are in such a way that is always help the lower class or either the upper class, but the people in the middle class, the working people especially, they always pay the higher taxes because there is no go out, right, from them, because they are doing the job, the tax are automatically cuts from their services. They are suffering at the moment because their take-home salary is there, but every price is going on. So what's other measures your government is looking into?
Well, certainly the middle class is a class that I'm a member of, and my family is as well. And we hear from them all the time. We hear from folks who face the same kinds of challenges that folks in my family hear. That's why our government implemented a middle-class tax cut, one of the first things we did after the election to help middle-class families that way. As far as affordability in general, the groceries and essentials tax rebate, and I had someone ask me about this today and said, well, why is it a rebate? Why don't you just reduce the taxes on this, that? And I said, well, because we want it to be somewhat precise, and we want to have the most impact for the people who are truly affected. There are some of us in this society who maybe don't need a break at the grocery store, who are doing just fine. So we don't want all taxpayers to shoulder the burden of a tax break on groceries and essentials if we don't need to give everyone a tax break. It's just the folks who really need it, right? We want there to be impact in a positive way for the people that are really feeling crunched right now. So that was the idea behind that. You're going to see, and the reduction in the gas prices as well, which was across the board, for everyone. So I think if you look deeper into the budget and the spring economic update, you're going to see other measures that are geared towards helping Canadians. And we talk about small businesses very frequently. My husband runs a small business. I come from a small business background as well. And the input costs for those small businesses is very high right now. So there have been investments and money put aside to help folks who need to have low interest loans or more flexible loan terms in their small and medium-sized businesses. And we want to put some money into EI, for example. So folks who have lost their jobs, we're talking about the unemployment rate, have additional supports to keep them floating through this period of uncertainty. So there's a whole suite of measures addressed at affordability, and we want to make sure that the impact for the people who need it the most is they can feel it.
No, one of the success is definitely there, that we have a less deficit as we are as it was projected. So we have a less deficit. That's one thing. Everybody prays for Mr. Carney because he's a money management person. So long time everybody know that his skill set is there. So one of the thing which is we heard on is spring budget debate as well, that especially for the skilled worker, their special budget was put it together. But we see there is a less skilled workers are available in our country, right? So less number of people are available. So he putting a lot of efforts on that. I think 4.9 billion, if I not forget. is put it in that one. Till 2030, we need how many? 25,000, I think, something like that. A skilled worker we needed, right?
Yeah, we want to get 100,000 Red Seal skilled trades workers trained up by 2030. And you're right, the amount is close to $5 billion that we're investing there. My youngest son is currently doing his apprenticeship to be an electrician, so he's chosen a career in the skilled trades. We want young people and people who are looking to get involved in these career paths to understand that we want and value those skills. And we don't want them to just start, we want them to complete those skilled training education, because what we're seeing sometimes is that folks will start and they don't get to finish, because it is, there's skills you have to learn. You have to know what you're doing. So getting to the finish line sometimes can be challenging. So we want to make sure we're supporting people who choose those careers right through to the end so they can get their Red Seal and then get to work, because our idea here is to build big in Canada. We have large nation building projects that are going to be getting off the ground, or are getting off the ground now. There's investment happening from the federal government in small craft harbors, in mining, nuclear reactors, you name it. We've got a plan, infrastructure of all kinds. And you can have the money, you can have the plan, but if you don't have the people to execute the projects, that's going to hold everything up. So this is why this investment is really important, and not just to address employment levels, but it's to get our nation building again.
Definitely, I agree with you, because I also start encouraging a lot of youth that you guys start thinking not everybody go to university, but you will see there is a great future. Our government putting a lot of money, and I can see that there's a great future for the skilled worker as well. So you start looking on those things, and is a great benefit, because you have less OSAB, you have less everything, right? Depth, and you are in the market quickly, and you start earning as well. So I think definitely the youth are looking into, and there are a lot of youth are really interested as well. And government take a great measures. Congratulations to you and your government as well. Okay. So one other quick questions,
sure.
Because people asking me what really Kristina did for his Milton and Georgetown and this. So I know the answer as well. But I want to listen from you, that especially for that particular area, one or two projects that you are specifically bring and help it out.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. And certainly the whole reason we get elected is because we want to help the people that we represent. And I was a former municipal councillor, and people often ask me the differences between being the town councillor and now at the federal level. The principles are the same. We're here to represent, to advocate, and to make life better for the people we represent. At the municipal level, sometimes you feel like you have more impact because someone calls with an issue and you can make a phone call and get the snow cleared or get the garbage picked up. At the federal level, the issues are much, much bigger and take more time to address. So sometimes I think people who come from municipal backgrounds might feel like I don't have as much impact here. But we are a team that's addressing national issues. So we work on those big, high-level national issues that we talked about. But then I have constituents who have very particular issues that they need addressed. Now, in Milton East, Halton Hills South, the concerns that I hear from constituents are probably not all that different from what other ridings are hearing. We talked about affordability, housing, right? And I think this is where I'm going to be focusing my energy, because we want to get more affordable housing built in this riding. I have 4 young adult children. None of them have their own place. They would like their own place. So I'm living this reality myself as their mother and seeing the difference between when my husband and I first purchased, and it wasn't as hard as it is now. So we want to get affordable housing built. So there are a few projects in the riding that I'm going to be pushing for. You did mention the $2.9 million for the housing in Georgetown. So that's great. That's a good start, but there's more we have to do. I have a special interest in palliative care, residential hospice that we're trying to get built for North Halton, which I think is very important. The way we care for people and families when they're dying in the last weeks and days of their lives, I think is a very telltale sign of how responsible a community is to people who are vulnerable. So I want to make sure we're stepping up for those people as well. So those are the big projects. I've talked to my provincial counterpart about transit, and particularly out of Milton, the GO train. We've been talking for years and years and years about two-way all-day GO service. So this is a combined federal provincial issue that we have to get on the same page so we can all push it forward to our respective.
So how many times were announced? Ford announced it already that they will be there, but it's not happened up till now. And after that announcement, I see the high-rise are start building around that one. So and there are a lot of high-rise construction is going on around that GO stations, right? But we didn't see the GO station is working like that yet.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point. So this is something, you know, I hope I have success in moving it forward to get this addressed, because during the campaign, we were out at the GO stations, both in Milton and Georgetown, but in Milton particularly, people said, where is the two-way all-day GO that people have been talking about for 10 years? You know, what is the holdup? Everybody wants it. The federal government came forward at the time. I was not the federal representative then, but the federal government came forward with funding. The provincial government committed. They changed their trajectory a little bit. They were talking about GO, you know, north of the city. Sounds like now they've come back. So this is where I have to talk to my provincial counterpart, who I know very well, Z Hamid. Him and I were counselors together for 4 years. And we're going to talk about how we can move that forward together with my colleague and good friend, Adam Van Koeverden, who's the Secretary.
Because very important, right? Because the population is increasing in Milton, right? And you see that roads are quite busy now in the Milton itself, right? And definitely that's the provincial and the town matters. They definitely have to start thinking that how and definitely they ask for the funding for the federal as well, I'm sure, right? But the thing is that population is increasing. Things are getting very tight in the town. Myself, I see when I come at 2022, and I see in 3 years that how the town changed, absolutely, right? So,
well, you talk about the town changing, and I was born and raised in Milton, so I have seen it change a lot. And I used to work in Georgetown, and now my constituency office is in Georgetown. So yeah, there's changes. You know, we're on a major highway close to the largest city in the country, in Toronto. So there are going to be changes. The province tells municipalities how they have to grow. But you mentioned infrastructure, roadways, and that sort of thing. And our government recognizes that communities and municipalities need support. If we are going to ask them to build more housing, they need to have support for infrastructure.
Exactly.
So that's why we have allocated $51 billion towards community infrastructure, for example, where communities can apply to have federal funding to help them with those projects. Transit, in Milton particularly, I think transit is where council is focusing some energy, because there's just going to be too many cars on the road, and that's why you're seeing construction around the GO station, because those are transit hubs. Georgetown is not quite there as far as public transit. They don't have quite the population growth. Will that come in time? You know, it remains to be seen. But I think when we talk about municipal governments, they have very limited ways to raise revenues through property taxes or development charges through builders. And we know that the province and the federal government have asked or are telling municipalities that we're going to be scaling back development charges. How do we make municipalities whole? Because they rely so heavily on those development charges, because we want to incentivize home building. So it's a really interwoven situation that as a federal government we have to be alive to, and we cannot do our work in a bubble. We have to be talking to the provinces and the municipalities so that we all understand what the other needs in order to get things done for our residents.
So one last question before we wrap up today's communication, right, discussion. So one last question is that I know that you speak many time in the parliament, right? And if I still remember your diary, so 146 time or 141 time, if one of the number is correct, I'm sure that you intervene in the parliament and you try to speak there. So I see that there's some important discussion that you start there. You also seconded one of the bill as well there, right? And but the important one is the C11. I see that it's very sensitive one, but we start discussion on that one as well, because in the most of the country, we not talk about the military and the defense systems, right? And we are talking about here the sexual harassment or something about the women in the military as well. So how you see that bill C11 is going forward, because you are a woman as yourself and you want to make sure that all the women working in any part of the system, they are safe, right? And they are secure as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're talking about our Modernizing the Military Justice System Act. So what we're seeking to do there is move criminal justice out of the military and into the courts that all of us as civilians use as well. And the reason for that is to make sure that there aren't two different types of justice systems operating in our country. And you mentioned women. Certainly, we want more women if they feel that they would like to pursue a career in the military. We want to make sure that they understand they will be supported. And men are also subject to harassment and criminal activity in the justice system. So that's what that bill is about. It's a pretty thorough piece of legislation, but that's kind of the highlight. And really, I think that speaks more broadly to criminal justice reform across the country. And I'll mention bills C-14, which is our Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, and Bill C-16, which is our Protecting Canadians Act. At C-14, we've heard so much about crime and criminals who've been released on bail numerous times. This is legislation that's currently with the Senate that we want to move forward so that police have the tools they need to keep these criminals behind bars, and so they're not out in the communities. We need the legislative tools in place for the police to do that. We also need, again, the provincial governments to be supporting the judicial system because that's in the realm of the provinces. They need to invest in jails and courts and all that stuff so the justice system can move properly. Bill C-16, Protecting Victims, Canadians Act, is about victims of intimate partner violence, domestic abuse, and it also addresses children and who are being exposed to predators online and that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that the most vulnerable people in our society are protected and have support quickly and effectively through the justice system with those two bills. So you're going to see C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform, come forward out of the Senate fairly soon. I'm not sure what amendments the Senate might bring forward, but there might be some changes there. But almost universally, when I talk to people across the riding, they want to see changes in the criminal justice system. They want to feel safer. I will say that in Halton Region, we enjoy one of the best, the lowest crime rates in the country. But if people don't feel safe, if they're still worried about break-and-enters or their cars being stolen or assaults, it doesn't matter. Like we all need to feel safe in our communities. And when we have legislation and a justice system behind us that supports that and sends that message to criminals and to law-abiding people that they are supported, then people will feel better about moving about their communities safely.
Yeah, one of the things which is I not see before in the town, our town, mostly people are really respect each other and everything, right? But I see on this, especially during this municipal election is going to be in October, right? So one of the women who is running for the mayor as well, I see very Islamophobic type of comments there. I never see before that, and in many of the forums, it's not only one forum, many forums, right? So. And they have their own reasons, right? So how you address this Islam, especially in the Milton, right? Because you are the parliamentarian as well. I know that Liberal track record is excellent track record on this issue, especially. They always try to come up and try to help it out to the community as well. How you see that?
Well, I will tell you, any form of discrimination of that nature, whether it's Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, any kind of racism, gender-based discrimination, homophobia, those have no place in our community or in Canada. And I spoke earlier about the values that we share as Canadians. All people have value. And when we start discriminating against one group, we open ourselves up to discrimination as well. If we don't condone, if we condone that type of activity, we want to make sure that we condemn that type of activity. So I think it's really important to continue a conversation. You mentioned online. Yes, it is very easy to be discriminatory and say awful things online because you can do so anonymously, and that feeds into some narratives that already exist that may reinforce some people's fears. I think a lot of this comes out of fear when people don't understand another culture. So it's about supporting folks, obviously, who are feeling discriminated against. I think it's important we do it early when people are young. So in our schools, make sure that if there's fear or misunderstanding, that's addressed. We have to support our teachers and educators in doing that as well. And what the federal government can do as far as legislation is try to write laws that condemn that type of activity or send the message and give law enforcement the tools to address it. So in Bill C-9, we talk about our hate crimes law. So we want to make sure that if people are uttering awful things that pass a pretty high threshold, frankly, into hate crime, that is addressed under the judicial system so that all Canadians can feel like they can be themselves and they can be themselves, worship how they wish, live their lives peacefully in a very diverse society without fear of being abused unnecessarily.
No, I know that laws and bills and all those things are there, right, to keep the peace in the society, right? But I think the leadership have a bigger role than that one, right? If when they saw these type of things is going on there, they have to come out from their shell and bringing all the community together, right? And start a peaceful communication, right? Tell them that how to speak to each other, right?
I
And this
agree.
is something which is always the leadership have to do, right? Time to time, because they have to, because I know that there's sometimes leaders are not want to talk on several issues because there's a political issues are there, right? In the next elections, and this has happened and that happened. If this is getting angry, this is getting angry. I'm not getting the vote. I'm not getting. So those are all the things are there, right? So I feel that way, that leadership have a bigger role than this, right?
I absolutely agree. And there are some really great things happening in our community to address that. I've been attending several times to an interfaith group that brings together religious leaders from all different faiths, and it's a panel, and they get asked questions and they talk about their faith's interpretation of different social issues, and it becomes a conversation. And when we hear folks of another faith or another race talk, we learn, but we also understand that there's a lot more similarity than there is difference, and that breaks down that wall of fear. And I think when you break down the fear, you're going to address anger people might have, and they're going to be more open to understanding that we're all part of a big Canadian family of humanity. So the interfaith dialogue is very important. I've also attended iftars and Eid events with different faith leaders. And again, if the community can see that faith leaders, whether they're imams or they're rabbis or Christian priests and pastors, coming together and they can break bread together, that's an example for the community to show, look, the leaders are sitting down and they're able to talk through differences, find similarities and common ground, and we should be able to follow suit. So you're right. It does, I believe it does begin with leadership, but it also begins at the grassroots level when we're teaching our children.
Exactly. Schools are the wonderful place where the children are all part of the right society. They come together and they are the friends to each other, definitely. But one thing I always feel, especially not only in the Milton, but everywhere where we see that communities are living in silos, right? And that's one of the biggest challenge for the society, right? Yes, I am Muslims. I live in one silos. The other ones are Hindus or Christians or this and that. Religiously, there are different silos are there. Then we have countries. We come from Pakistan, India, Portugal, Croatia, everywhere, right? We have the small silos as well there. So I feel that one of the things that leaders should do, that they should create some events where all these peoples participated and their leadership is in one of the committees to do that type of events. So something like that every society have to create. So in this way, everybody feel that I contributed. So that's one missing in I feel that yes, every community doing their great events, but something which is for all together, we have to supposed to do as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I'm the daughter of an immigrant, and I agree when people are bound together by a common history or ethnicity or language or religion, it's only natural that those diaspora communities tend to clump together because there's familiarity there in a strange new place. Exactly. So I think you can do both. You can continue to maintain and respect a cultural identity that you bring from another place while understanding you are now part of a new family. And there is also room to be more involved in the community that's not necessarily tied directly to the place you came from. And I think it's a great idea to have those types of events, but people need to feel welcomed and they need to be willing to participate as well. So I think it's a two-sided effort that we have to do.
Not one-sided.
Yeah, there's a great event that we have around Christmas time in Milton, the Miracle on Main Street, which is, it's a non-denominational, and we're talking about Christmas, yes, which has religious origins, but it's meant to celebrate the spirit of the season, which is togetherness in our common humanity. And it's that type of event that bringing the community together. Come as you are, here to support the community. They raise money for a toy drive, for children that might be underprivileged. So those types of events, I think, go a long way to making people realize that we're all on the same team. We're all here to make life better for our community and therefore our own families and ourselves. And when people can step outside, maybe a little bit of their comfort zone from the diaspora communities a little bit, I think we see the greatest parts of our community come alive. So I'm certainly a great believer in that as well.
I really thank you for your time as well, Kristina, and I really appreciate your time as well. We try our best to ask you some tough questions that because the people are always reaching out to us, then they say that you guys are not asking tough questions. So I say that, okay, we can ask the tough question as well. Don't worry about it. Thank you once again for coming to the Toronto City.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
So you are watching the discussion with Kristina with us, and she's a wonderful MP of Milton South, right? And I can see that she will be in the future a great leader of that of our country, and she will grow definitely. But this is her first year, but I see a very passionate woman who are going to lead this country in the future. Thank you very much, and don't forget to give me your feedback as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
तैयार हो जाएं इस बकरीद पर सबसे बड़े मेले के लिए। इनाम घर ईद शॉपिंग फेस्टिवल 23, 24, 25 और 26 मई को दोपहर 12 से रात 12 बजे तक ईद मेलों के लिए मशहूर कैपिटल बैंक्वेट हॉल मिसिसागा में शॉपिंग, खाने, फैमिली एंटरटेनमेंट और रोजाना स्पॉन्सर्स की जानिब से गोल्ड आइटम्स गिव अवे। रोजाना हजारों लोगों की आमद मुतवक्के। वेंडर्स के लिए सुनहरी मौका। फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस पे अर्ली बर्ड प्राइसिंग का फायदा उठाइए। फ्री एंट्री, फ्री पार्किंग। वेंडर्स और स्पॉन्सर्स अभी कॉल करें 416-710-6777। इट्स 416-710-6677।
Welcome to Icon Event Space, where every occasion becomes unforgettable. From weddings and corporate gatherings to birthdays, anniversaries, conferences, and cultural festivals, Icon is designed to host it all seamlessly. With room for up to 1,200 guests, our venue blends flexibility, sophistication, and scale, all tailored to your vision. Great location with ample free parking. Convenience is always part of the experience. Savor our premium catering, featuring South Asian, continental, and a world of international flavors, curated just for you. Call us today at 437-425-2500 or visit iconeventspace.com.
At Alam Law Firm, we believe that the most important element of every file we work on is indeed the clients themselves,
which has resulted in a proven track record of success. Our battle-tested litigation lawyers stand tall in the face of adversity and challenging cases.
Our legal team comprises many legal professionals.
Every individual deserves dedicated legal representation.
For legal representation that will aggressively fight for your rights, contact Alam Law Firm today.
Then let Talha Bhatti serve you the best. 647-295-7861. Reconstruction projects, residential and commercial properties. Special packages for first-time home buyers. A member of dedicated real estate professional team. Talha Bhatti 647-295-7861. Then let Talha Bhatti serve you the best.
अगर आपको दुबई या मिडिल ईस्ट नुमा ज़ेवरात की तलाश है, तो आपको दूर जाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं। आज ही हमारे मिसिसागा रिजवे स्टोर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स। हमारे पास सोने के बेहतरीन कंगन, कड़े, झुमके, हार और सोने के सेट्स भी दस्तयाब हैं। शादी हो या मेहंदी या कोई भी फंक्शन, आपकी पसंद के तमाम जेवरात आपको हमारे स्टोर में मौजूद मिलेंगे। आज ही हमारे स्टोर पर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, 3465 प्लैटिनम ड्राइव, यूनिट 99, मिसिसागा। या फिर कॉल करें 905-828-0009। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, फरमाइश आपकी, गारंटी हमारी।
राहत बेकर्स एंड स्वीट्स 60 साल से आपके हसीन लम्हों में शामिल, खुशियों से भरे मीठे जायके, नफासत और क्वालिटी में सबसे बेहतर, खालिस अज्जा से तैयार करदा मिठाई, केक्स, बिस्किट्स एंड स्नैक्स, वही ऑथेंटिक जायका और क्वालिटी। पाकिस्तान से अब आपके शहर मिसिसागा में कुछ मीठा कुछ नमकीन राहत बेकर्स। आज ही विजिट कीजिए 3920 एग्लिंटन एवेन्यू वेस्ट, यूनिट 24, मिसिसागा। कॉल 905-820-1500 or visit rahatbakers.ca.
You know, we were always trying how to get a house. Remember the Royal Financial Group flyer you gave me for the mortgage?
Oh yes, Shiraz Hussain, who did our mortgage too.
Yes, I actually went to their office. The staff was so professional. They're expert in their services. And you know what Shiraz said?
We have more than 100 lenders to help you to find our right qualified lenders and program for your purchase, refinancing, any of your commercial needs. At the Royal Financial Group, we deliver what we promise.
Royal Financial Group. Never put a limit on your dreams.
तैयार हो जाएं इस बकरीद पर सबसे बड़े मेले के लिए। इनाम घर ईद शॉपिंग फेस्टिवल 23, 24, 25 और 26 मई को दोपहर 12 से रात 12 बजे तक ईद मेलों के लिए मशहूर कैपिटल बैंक्वेट हॉल मिसिसागा में शॉपिंग, खाने, फैमिली एंटरटेनमेंट और रोजाना स्पॉन्सर्स की जानिब से गोल्ड आइटम्स गिव अवे। रोजाना हजारों लोगों की आमद मुतवक्के। वेंडर्स के लिए सुनहरी मौका। फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस पे अर्ली बर्ड प्राइसिंग का फायदा उठाइए। फ्री एंट्री, फ्री पार्किंग। वेंडर्स और स्पॉन्सर्स अभी कॉल करें 416-710-6777। इट्स 416-710-6677।
A criminal charge can be an ugly and nasty surprise. Don't let bad decisions or unfortunate circumstances take control of your life. The criminal lawyers at Alam Law Chambers will listen to your story and develop the best defense for you. Nothing in life is more important than your freedom. Reliable and affordable. Alam Law.
Thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate, whether it be residential, commercial, or pre-construction, Arshad Bhatti and his team of professionals can help. We have guaranteed allocations in high-rise and low-rise pre-construction projects in and around the GTA. Call Arshad Bhatti at 416-300-5600. That's 416-300-5600 or register at arshadbhatti.com.
रोशन मुस्तकबिल और अपनों का साथ जन्नत से कम नहीं। आप भी कनाडा को अपना घर बना सकते हैं और अपनों को पास बुला सकते हैं। एक्सपीरियंस्ड एंड रेगुलेटेड इमिग्रेशन कंसल्टेंट शहबाज अकबर के साथ मास्टर ऑफ बिजनेस क्लास इमिग्रेशन, एक्सप्रेस एंट्री, स्किल क्लास इमिग्रेशन, रेफ्यूजी क्लेम्स एंड फैमिली स्पॉन्सरशिप्स। कॉल नाउ एट 416-855-9464. Green Star Immigration Solutions Canada.
Managing your own business can be a lot of work. A professional accountant always makes a difference. It's imperative that your accountant keeps your finances simple, accurate, and confidential. Audited? Need help? That's why we chose Scans Accountants. They make you feel at ease knowing you and your business are in good hands. Scans Accountants, team of professionals.
If you are looking for a reliable, professional, and affordable travel agency in your town, then your search is over. Global Travel and Tours is your personal travel partner. Our dedicated staff always ready to make your trip hassle-free, memorable, and cost-effective. We will assist you with hotel reservations, the transportation, visa assistance, and travel insurance. Please give us a call right now at 1-877-275-3555. The law professionals at TM Law, providing professional services in the GTA in the areas of civil litigation, criminal defense, family matters, and real estate. Serving the community in English, Punjabi, Hindi, and Urdu. For more information, call Tahir Majid, barrister and solicitor at 647-838-4773, or you can visit tahirlaw.ca.
Are you planning on buying, selling, or investing in real estate? and looking for a reliable real estate broker? Then look no further. Call Noma today. List your home and start packing. Honest, reliable, and a top negotiator. Give your attention to Noma. Over 10 years of Canadian real estate market experience. Invest in new construction projects with day one price. Call Noma Bobber today at 647-962-0007.
If you are looking for an honest, dependable, and trustworthy auto repair facility, consider Z Auto Center for your foreign and domestic vehicles. Our certified technicians have years of experience, special packages for Uber, Lyft, taxi, and driving school car safety inspection, winter, summer, and all-season tire packages available. Best selection of used cars for sale. We are family-owned and operated business located at 3670 St. Clair Avenue East, just east of Midland Avenue in Scarborough. Call us today at 416-462-3050.
Team Farhan Mortgage Solutions designed for you. 15-year experience of mortgage services. Customized mortgage solutions as per your need. Commercial, residential, construction and agricultural mortgage. Our lowest mortgage rate.
Team Farhan को एक दफा खिदमत का जरूर मौका दीजिएगा. And this is my personal promise to you, you will not be disappointed.
At
Team Farhan, we have a mortgage solution designed for you.
416-569-9294. TeamFarhan.com.
Dixie Electronics and Appliances is your #1 destination for electronics and appliances. Choose from TVs and home audio that will entertain your whole family, to home comfort essentials for your living space, and a wide selection of appliances to build your perfect kitchen. From selection to delivery, Dixie Electronics is everything you need. Price match guarantee and 0% financing available, all under one roof. Come today at 5120 Dixie Road, Mississauga, or visit the website at dixieelectronics.ca.
तैयार हो जाएं इस बकरीद पर सबसे बड़े मेले के लिए। इनाम घर ईद शॉपिंग फेस्टिवल 23, 24, 25 और 26 मई को दोपहर 12 से रात 12 बजे तक। ईद मेलों के लिए मशहूर कैपिटल बैंक्वेट हॉल मिसिसागा में शॉपिंग, खाने, फैमिली एंटरटेनमेंट और रोजाना स्पॉन्सर्स की जानिब से गोल्ड आइटम्स गिव अवे। रोजाना हजारों लोगों की आमद मुतवक्के। वेंडर्स के लिए सुनहरी मौका। फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस पे अर्ली बर्ड प्राइसिंग का फायदा उठाइए। फ्री एंट्री, फ्री पार्किंग। वेंडर्स और स्पॉन्सर्स अभी कॉल करें 416-710-6777। इट्स 416-710-6677।
ते प्यार